It feels incredibly good to be able to talk about this. I have just seen episode 9 of Star Trek Picard season 3, and this is a huge warning of spoilers to you guys. Please do not watch this if you have not seen episode 9 or you're not there yet. You just don't want to do it, okay? Please do not watch this. Turn it off now. Everything I'm about to say is a mega spoiler, but before you turn it off, if you are trying to get some feedback without spoilers, I will tell you this is an amazing episode that right from the beginning answers questions and then begins to build towards an epic ending that's the end of part 1 of what's basically a 2-part movie as what they've told us, and that's what it is. So anyway, now you can turn away. I liked it. You got to see it. It's really good. Spoilers now. So you guys, whew. All right, I'm gonna be all right. This is really hard to get through. I've actually tried this a couple of times now. This is my 3rd attempt at recording this video. I've never ever been like this during a review or during anything. I've never seen myself be like this. I've never seen my wife act the way she acted watching episode 9 of Picard. She bounced around in her chair, was giddy and fired up. It was so weird to see that happen. This is truly a gift. But by Terry Matalas and by this whole crew and by everybody involved, it is a gift that we got this. From how Picard started, where Patrick Stewart first came out and said, Jean-Luc Picard is back. He won't be the Picard you remember. And it was like, oh, no. And how everything from that moment on went, woo. Now here we are feeling like everybody's back in a certain way. So first of all, let's start with the beginning of the episode and the reveal, which was, I will say, if you were to watch these all back to back, it wouldn't be that bad. It would be very intriguing. But it was hard for a lot of the audience to deal with the week-to-week what's behind the red door thing. And in the end, what's behind the red door isn't that surprising or epic, but it's the way that it's behind the red door that is epic. I love how Deanna runs out of the room and he's like, "What did you see?" And she's like, I'm not, she doesn't tell us. We cut back to the scene and we are shown what it is. The editing and the decision making to cut it that way was perfect and well done, and this was exactly what they should have done as far as that reveal goes. It was great. But what the thing about it is why I like this, even though it's like some people are like, "Oh my God." You know what I'm laughing at today, unfortunately, is all you people out there, whoever you are. I feel bad for some people, and you know who you are. You're the people who are, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that either didn't watch TNG as much, or they're more DS9 people or Voyager people. Those people who were Voyager and DS9 people who kind of liked TNG but didn't really like it compared to Voyager and Deep Space Nine. I don't understand those people because I grew up with The Next Generation, and to me it's obviously the best one, better than any other Star Trek. So it's The Next Generation. So a lot of the people, though, that were thinking it was, oh my God, the Pa Wraiths are back, or this, that, and the other thing are back, and I know that they're probably angry because they were watching this somewhat interested, but really more selfishly watching for the things they loved or whatever. But this is a TNG movie and show. And I also want to say that I got everything right almost, and my wife, sorry, honey, my wife and I did guess the big bads, so we both got that right. But as far as the people that died, I think I won, so that is great for me. This was an awesome reveal, and even though it's the Borg, and a lot of people maybe rolled their eyes a little bit, I actually didn't roll my eyes. I went, oh my God, it is the Borg, man. What the hell? After all this, it was just the Borg. Like, unbelievable. But like I said that with a smile, because then it's like it's the real Borg. The real Borg are here. It feels like the real Borg, too, in a way. It doesn't feel like the Borg from last season. It doesn't feel like the stupid reclamation Borg, whatever we saw in the first season. It doesn't feel like a lot of the overused Borg from Voyager. It feels like, in some ways, it almost feels like a hybrid of the Borg from the Star Trek The Next Generation series, the original Borg we saw in the Best of Both Worlds, kind of combined with the Borg from First Contact. I mean, it's really the First Contact Borg, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it reminds you of the classic Borg. So even though it's like, oh, it is just the Borg, but it's not just the Borg, it feels like the real Borg. So it's like re-exciting again, if that makes any sense at all. It's almost like I went from, oh, it's the Borg. Yeah, we guessed it. Man, it could have been, but when you realize this is a Star Trek The Next Generation story, who's the most evil villain in Star Trek The Next Generation? It's the Borg. Who is the most menacing? And it's like, we came up with all these ideas. One of my background ideas from day one was Armus, because Armus kind of makes sense. But you know what I mean? How do you pull that off without being silly and without trying to tell this whole new thing? So instead, why would you do that when you should be going for the best and biggest enemy of Star Trek The Next Generation in Picard, and the one that has the most story to fill up? And it's like, what's the most believable thing that you can do well? And what can you do to save and retcon whatever the hell was done last season? You know what I mean? So I don't even know how Terry Matalas got away with doing this. You know what I mean? When last season it was all about the Borg. We're your friends now. Ooh. And then Terry Matalas is like, well, I'm going to do the Borg is back and they're crazy. It's like, I'm surprised someone didn't say, but we can't do that. We just did. Well, but no. The real Borg is out there. The real Borg is out there. They're out there. That's what Shaw said himself. So I actually, this is not me sucking ass. I know there's going to be people that are like straight up like, that's stupid, or I'm disappointed by that. I am not disappointed, because this legitimizes the Borg again, and they're the best enemy of the Next Generation. And I wasn't a big Borg person. I'm not the biggest Borg person. You know what I mean? I found so many other episodes so much more interesting. But when it comes to a movie style thing, the Borg was the most successful of the movies, and it's been waiting to happen again. And so this, to me, is done well. This show turns into a freaking horror movie at one point, like Body Snatchers or whatever you want to call it. I love the way they figure this out, too, when they're all talking about how this happened and how Jack is a receiver, whereas Picard was, or Jack is a transmitter, where Picard was a receiver. The aromatic syndrome makes sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense to me is how come Q never told Picard? Because Q, in All Good Things, is constantly talking to Picard about his aromatic syndrome, right? Or mentions it at least. And Picard has to figure that out. Like, oh, I've got aromatic syndrome in the future, and this is what's going on. But that whole time, wouldn't Q know? Oh, that's not aromatic syndrome. That's in your brain, Captain Picard. Why didn't he ever tell Picard? Oh, that's not, And I guess you could say, well, he didn't he couldn't tell him, because if he told him that, it would mess up the whole story of what the lesson was from Q in All Good Things. So that's why Q couldn't tell Picard about his Aromatic Syndrome not being Aromatic Syndrome. So that's okay, but it was a thought that popped into my head, and I was like, that's bizarre. But explainable and understandable. I love how they deciphered this, and obviously at a later time I'll remember more about, exactly what they talked about. Picard and Jack have a good conversation here. I love the way Jack just decided to leave. I guess I just don't know what his plan is. He's like, I'm gonna get out of here, and his plan is to go kill the Borg Queen. Go sacrifice himself, blow her up, just take her out himself. It's kind of reckless, it's kind of ridiculous, but it is something that, I could see him doing, and I could see Picard doing when he was younger. This is the whole, like, sort of like the Matrix. It's like Neo going to the Machine City. There's a lot of little Matrix type of things here. But the Borg always kind of was like, the Matrix reminded me of like a little bit of a ripoff of the Borg in a way. And so that's kind of what this reminds me of. I love the shots of the shuttlecraft when Jack leaves. I like Beverly, like, you're going to get yourself killed. Picard places blame on himself again, as he always has for this Borg situation, even though it's not really his fault. Beverly brings up Wesley again here. She's like, I tried to do everything to keep him, and I lost him, and, and now we're going to lose. This was a good scene where they brought up Wesley, which I thought was nice, of Picard looking out the window. I just, there's so much great explanation in Star Trek The Next Generation science type of stuff here. Does everything add up? I don't even know, but it really is well done, very well done, because sometimes things don't add up and they stick out right away. None of that's happening here, so very well done. The story writing, the idea, the way things come together. It's great how Beverly talks about organic life forms like bees and birds and stuff using these frequencies and ways to communicate that are different. So you could hide a signal or communication ability in organic life, in organic material. That is super science-y, Star Trek-y, smart type of stuff. And a way that, it's a way for them to realize what's going on, make sense of it, and then also to tell the audience how it works in a basic terms while being complicated. Like this is so well done, canvassed to explain how this is working. Then after well done exposition, we go to finally Frontier Day, and we hear ships, talked about. Like I think we heard the Pulaski has a ship, and there's very nods to people in ships, and Trek yards are gonna explode in their pants. We get this just beautiful reveal of the Enterprise F, just a hero shot coming out of space dock of the Enterprise F. It's actually kind of crazy, unbelievably beautiful. We find out Commander Shelby, or rather now Admiral Shelby, who's eclipsed Riker, right? Because Riker's still a captain, she's an admiral, and which makes sense because she had that type of crazy ambition. Where Riker just liked being the first officer of the Enterprise, and Riker probably liked just being the captain of the Titan. And then obviously he had years where he took off and probably was delayed due to his family tragedy. But Shelby, she's just a crazy go-getter, and there she is on the bridge of the Enterprise F. I don't think she's in command all the time of the Enterprise F. I think that she's just the admiral who is honorably in command of the ship. And we get to see the reveal of Shelby. That was so cool. It's weird because I just saw the actress talking to someone on a podcast not that long ago, and I thought, wow, man, that's Shelby. Like that's so crazy to see her. I haven't heard from her in forever. I haven't thought about her that much, as an actress and as a real person. So it was cool to see what she was up to and hear her thoughts on her time on Star Trek and stuff like that. So I think this was also well executed. I think the only disappointing thing here is the Enterprise F bridge. Like this looks exactly like the Titan because it is the Titan. So the only thing that I wish that they had done here is, now I do like the doors in the background. They look a little different. Like, let me be honest. The doors look white with the Starfleet logo. It looks a little different. I just don't think it looked different enough to me, but I mean, it's whatever. It's the Enterprise F, and we're not really going to see the whole bridge. It's just a quick little shot of her. And well done, by the way, with the shots that were chosen to just sort of display we're on a different ship without showing the whole ship, because then it would have really looked like the Titan, or they would have had to, do this whole set for 2 seconds of material. So I understand why they did it. But I wish they did something in green screen or something in the background here to make it look very different. But what are you going to do? But the thing about all the ships looking succinct and stainless steely dark and everything is that being that way, that aesthetic, ends up paying off later when the big reveal happens to basically the next character, the final character from the Next Generation crew that we haven't seen yet, we see at the end of this episode. And so that's fine, because this is a wonderful shot. I love the scenes with Jack and the Borg Queen. I've already edited together a sort of a trailer for this episode, which I can't wait to sort of show people on Twitter, because I find it fun and exciting to make little trailer things. And in my trailer, I used music, and I used these cues from the episode. And the Borg Queen has just phenomenal lines that are just freakish, like, you know what I mean? Like freakish lines. Where's one of them? I'll play one of them right here. I'll play one of the lines for you, because she's got great lines. It's like, you would have killed me already. Here it is.
My child.
I'm not going without everyone.
My flesh.
Your son is dangerous.
It's been assimilated.
There's a darkness on the ship.
Her line of if you could have killed me, you would have already, is wonderful. The scenes with Jack twirling around on the Borg cube, and also when Jack first gets there and he's on the shuttle, it's mentioned that he's coming upon a warp conduit, so there's some sort of time travel or some kind of opening that's crossing them over from space. So I don't know exactly what's going on there, but it seems like the Borg have come from a very far distance, or a timeline, or something is going on. I don't remember now off the top of my head, but it was something like that. There was some kind of dialogue from the computer, and I'm not going to go back and figure it out now probably, but I love that they have the classic circular Spencer's Gifts green lights that anybody can buy at the store, that even when they were in the movie in 1996, you were like, hey, those are the lights from the black light store. Everybody, you know what I mean? Like, they're in the movie, though. I like that those are here, literally, that they're blend in. Oh my God, I feel so bad. I can't think of the guys who did the production and the art design and the, just like these holes here in the back with the light coming through. I mean, there's so much classic Next Generation and Star Trek stuff in this set design. The set designer did an amazing job with many things. They did a wonderful job. So I like those scenes with Jack and the dialogue from the Borg Queen. I was going to give you many names or something, she says, and she goes through these names that I don't remember now. We can look them up later and figure out what they all could mean. But then Vox, which I guess if you translate Vox, kind of tells you it's the Borg, I think, but I don't remember what that means. I looked it up the other day, and I saw someone else talking about it, and it was like, oh, wow, it's basically right there the whole time with that name of the show, Vox, if you really wanted to look it up. If anybody had wanted to look it up or look into it. So I like these scenes on the Borg cube. There's enough here that it really does feel like he's on a cube somewhere. And so this is this was well done. The scenes that they got to cut back to. Jack finds out he can't kill the Borg Queen. He wants to kill her. He says it's mercy to kill her and to end this, but he can't do it. So now he's basically given himself up, and we're talking about, the fleet, and everybody's gathered in the same place and what's going on. And now they figure out, anybody who used the transporters are susceptible to being assimilated. The changelings were used to put this code into the transporters, so anybody that uses it is going to be turned into a Borg. But their frontal cortex, if it's fully developed, are not affected because it's too late. So anybody over 25 or so would probably not be affected. So it's all the younger crew that are affected, which is also cool. And then as the crews all start to turn on the fleet, as Admiral Picard and everybody are trying to tell Shelby and the entire fleet, there's been a change. Can you imagine the whole fleet hearing this? They're like, hey, it's Frontier Day. Changelings are back, and they've taken over everything, and so that the Borg could take over. You would be like, what? You know what I mean? Like, it'd be the ultimate what the F. Changeling infiltration has led to us being susceptible to the Borg? Like, what the hell, bro? That is like so much bad news delivered instantly that you wouldn't believe it, and everybody would be like, what the hell is he talking about? But as soon as they're thinking like this is ridiculous and not real, well, they're being assimilated and everybody's under attack. And Shelby apparently gets killed, it looks like. So now all hell's breaking loose. LaForge Sydney is becoming a Borg. All the young people, they're all turning into Borgs. And quickly they realize, and I love it, this becomes a full-on zombie movie at this point. Invasion of the Body Snatchers or whatever type of stuff is going on. I love it. Love it. I was born in 1984, man. I don't know. I'm loving this, man. And then we got to get off this ship. And, 7 of 9 kicks someone's ass. They're trying to go through the turbo lift to figure out a place to go to get to safety. I love the scene when they're on the turbo lift and all hell's breaking loose, and they close the doors. Let's get to the maintenance level or the engineering level, and they realize, if we get down to the engineering level, we'll be safe down there. We might be able to hide down there or something. And I love when over the comms, the Excelsior comes on, and is like, "Hey, we took back the bridge," and you're like, "Oh shit! Well, they've got one ship that's back. Okay, the Excelsior," and then, oh no, the Borg remotely control the ship and then destroy it, so he's dead. And I love that they keep hearing these negative communications of panic and insanity, and Picard is like, "Shut that damn thing off!" Picard's like, "Shut the damn thing off." It's one of my I cracked up laughing because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, dude, shut the hell up. I love what they do here. The whole fleet's been assimilated. The Borg is talking, man. They're like, "We are the Borg." It's just getting crazy. This episode's getting wild, and then they get down to the engineering level, and there's Beverly in the center there, looking like full on Ripley. Let's go. Somebody made a picture of Beverly, Deanna, and Raffi saying Charlie's Angels, but they excluded Worf, and then he should have been in there. He's an angel too, goddammit. So I love this scene. Never been so happy to see so many wrinkles. I love this scene. It's so great. Everyone's trying to figure out what to do, and then they're like, well, we can take a shuttlecraft because they're not controlled remotely, and that's what Data says. And then 7 is like, the robot's right or whatever, and that's funny. And then they're under attack, so they got to hurry up and get on the shuttle. Geordi's like, come on, Data. And then Data's like, do you think there'll be anything left at the museum or something like that, or where we're going or something like that? And then Geordi is like, Data, could you be a little more positive? And then Data goes, I hope we die quickly. Like, dude, and it's cracking me up because, dude, it's Data, but it's B4. It's lore and Data and B4 all mixed. It really is that. It's like he's got a bit of this comedy, but also like he's still got that childhood mind, mostly because Data always felt like a child because he was trying to be human, but he was a robot. But now Data has that bit of childishness because he's got a bit of that B4 in him, I think. And it just, man, it's that, like, I love that. I love Data, man. I love that. It's like part of me is greedy and wants the old robot Data back. I want the actual Data back. But the other part of me is very happy that Data has evolved a bit because that's what he would always want. And he really completed his journey, therefore, and now is this new thing. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. I love it. And I'm starting to really like that. The dynamic feels great. And then as everyone's trying to get on the shuttle, Shaw's like, I'll cover you. And he's like shooting, and you're like, uh-oh. And then Shaw gets shot. And honestly, I couldn't believe it. And this is just to get all the original crew on the shuttlecraft because, 7 stays behind. Why? Raffi stays behind. Why? Because 7. So 7 stays behind because of Shaw, but he's dead. So go 7, get out of there. But they don't. They stay. And maybe a bit of dialogue, but there's nothing you could do here because it was a beautiful scene. It was fairly heartbreaking because even I like Shaw. And they just got me to finally start believing that Star Trek Legacy with Shaw could happen. But he was a bit of a messy captain character, but he was likable. My wife liked him. I was right. I said Shaw would die, and he did. And nobody would die besides him in this episode, and I was right. 7 of 9. He calls her 7 of 9 finally, and that. It's just very nice. It's a very beautiful scene. You know what I mean? It shows you too. It shows you a lot of people out there are so divided, and I don't like politics and stuff, current stuff, beating you over the head in Star Trek. In season 2 of Picard, they beat you over the head with politics in the dumbest way, and it pissed me off. As someone myself who's become a fairly independent political person, because I find the right and the left to be too extreme nowadays, and I mean very extreme. I don't know why these two parties have now drifted so far apart. They're both insane, in my opinion. And because of that, season 2 was disgusting to me. But this is the type of thing you can like. Because even though I'm not a big fan of current politicky stuff and things being in Star Trek, the one thing that the left political progressive types really clung on to was the whole dead naming thing. But we can all relate to dead naming or whatever, and I don't like these these little woke terms of naming and stuff like that, but it does happen that people call you insulting names or that people don't want to call you something maybe you want to be called. And we can all relate to that, anybody. And this was a wonderful way of showing that, if you want to cling to that. But it was also just a way of showing how people really can respect each other and how people can really care about each other. And about how maybe somebody who's not, maybe somebody who's disrespecting you isn't that bad of a person. They have their reasons. And you can forgive them because a good person, in the end, they'll do the right thing. And you can also respect how somebody would want to be called, maybe what they want to be called by what they think is their real name or their identity. And if you don't do that for someone, or you don't care to do that, even if somebody wishes it, even if it makes them feel better to be called what they want to be called, and you can respect them on that, you can learn to try to do that. So it's like that perfect thing of two sides coming together, but like it's not beating you over the head. And in the end, it's really just two characters who really did respect each other and whatever. It's just a beautiful thing here that I could probably break down over a long period of time and go over and over again. And it is too bad we lose Shaw. We thought we were going to lose him in episode 1. It's so funny because people in episode 1 and 2 are like, who is this guy? I hate him. Kill him. I hope he dies. He still won't call 7 of 9, 7 of 9. Oh, I hope he dies. No. I mean, that's really what it like. It's just, oh man. So right as I was feeling, I did not. I don't think I cried. I didn't cry for Shaw. You know what I mean? I just kind of watched it and was like, whoa, like it was close because it was powerful, and it was a good scene, a good death. This is one of the best. It's one of the better death scenes I've seen, I thought, and it meant a lot. And so I was close. I was close, man. I was like, ooh, whoa. And then all hell's broken loose. There's unbelievable music being played at this point. Hopeless, sad music being played as they fly the shuttle, and Geordi says, well, I've got something else in mind. You know, he said that earlier, and now they're on their way to the Fleet Museum, and Picard's like, why are we at the Fleet Museum? And Geordi is like, well, I was saving this for a surprise someday. And I really thought we would see the Enterprise bridge at some point. I believed we were going to see it. Because I just knew the story I would want to tell and what I would want to do, and I knew what they would want to do, I would think. And, you know, so in my head, I knew we were going to see, I thought, a holodeck, you know, at the end of the series. I thought in episode 10, at the very end, you know, they would walk out onto the holodeck and they would look at the bridge of the Enterprise in some sort of commemorative ceremony or something. And it would be nice. And we'd probably be emotional, and it would be amazing. But what I did not expect, you know, and I honestly, I don't know why, but I guess I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for them to be in the middle of this battle, of this Borg situation. And I was not expecting them to need the Enterprise D now and to go onto it and then to literally take it and use it. Maybe some people were out there expecting that. I thought they were going to use the Fleet Museum ships. I did think that was going to happen. I thought, you know what, everyone's going to get on a ship and have to drive a ship or something like that, and there's going to be this crazy battle, and I thought that was going to happen. All right. But yeah, so anyway, gotta grab a towel. Where's my towel at? I did not expect them to take the ship and go, like, with the D. And let's talk about this. All right, I'm back to normal. Here we go. I was not prepared for how talking about the ship. Dude. Talking about seeing this, and I'll just say that I've seen this episode a couple of times already. A lot of time has already set in for me, and it's I just did not I did not expect them to take the ship. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be a holodeck moment, and so that's what really, I mean, it's the way it's shot, it's the way it's shown, it's the way it's revealed. You know, we're at the Fleet Museum. Geordi, what are we doing here? You know, it's just great stuff. I was going to save this for a surprise at a later time, but no better time than now. It's the Enterprise D. Picard says, How? Now, I didn't even need an explanation. I always thought in my head, of course they're going to take the saucer section off Viridian 3. And for years in my head, I always thought somewhere in a museum is the saucer. I always thought that. But what was brilliant was, taking another ship, because there were so many similar ships back then that looked like the Enterprise. To take the other section and put it together and then piece back the Enterprise D was a great idea and a great reason for them to have it. And Geordi's been working on restoring it for years and years, kind of like his baby project here. We know that Geordi works on ships and builds ships. So everybody who was like, why is Geordi at the Fleet Museum? Why would Geordi be at the Fleet Museum? He should be at the shipyard. He was building ships, 20 years ago, or, 9, 10, about 13 years ago, Geordi was still building ships or so, right? And Utopia Planitia probably, and doing all these things. Why wouldn't Geordi be there? Why would he be at the Fleet Museum? And in my opinion, in my own headcanon, I think the real reason why Geordi wanted to go to the Fleet Museum was because he loves ships. He's in a ship porn, right? And on top of that, he wanted to restore the Enterprise D, like a car guy, an engineer car guy who wants to rebuild classic vehicles and stuff like that. That's Geordi. This is genius. This is great. This is so well done. I now know why Terry Matalas wanted to direct this episode and the next one. Terry Matalas, adding this to his credits, is like icing on the cake at this point. And everybody else. Data's like, Data's all choked up. They all are. And then they're like, obviously we can't use the Enterprise E because, and then they all look at Worf. And Worf is like, that was not my fault. I cracked up laughing. I was dying because they made sure to show that they didn't really say it, but it makes me believe at one point Worf did take over as captain of the Enterprise briefly. So I think that was a cool and fun joke and a fun nod. I don't need to know what happened right now. It was just funny. And then the lights go up on the Enterprise D bridge. There they are in the turbo lift, bro. I'm getting chills. When I'm watching this, I'm getting chills, bro. I am straight up, like, the lights are coming on slowly. And when you talk about Spielberg and you talk about just movie magic, this is movie magic. Field of Dreams. So many things come to mind. Ghostbusters Afterlife, spoilers, when at the end of Ghostbusters Afterlife, Egon appears as a ghost, and he's holding the beam with his daughter, helping her shoot with the proton pack. My father died when I was 8, and he missed season 7 of The Next Generation. He would have loved this. My wife watched Star Trek with her father. I watched it with mine and my mother. And man, and I watched Ghostbusters too, so when I saw Egon and his father, who's a dead ghost, helping daughter, that was emotional too for me. This was crazy. I don't cry a lot. I mean, I know you wouldn't believe it by how I'm acting in this video right now, but I have started to get more emotional as I've gotten older. There's no doubt about it. Some people think I'm a heartless, crazy person, but I'm really not the psycho character that you sometimes see on here. I'm much more stable in real life. This maybe not actually, but anyway, this was amazing. They come on and the bridge, and the more they reveal, the more I'm like, how is it this perfect? How is it this beautiful? I am now turning into Will Wheaton right now. Terry Metalis has turned me into Will Wheaton on the goddamn Ready Room. Because every episode of the Ready Room, Will Wheaton acts like I'm acting right now. Every episode of the Ready Room, Will Wheaton is like, oh my God, oh, like he's just losing it. I am not like this all the time. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it. It's absolutely perfectly. It just looks so perfect. There's only a couple things that in my head I went, oh, it's just so perfect. And the thing about it is it's a restoration too. So all the damage that was done and all the things that were done, if something slightly were to be a little bit different, you wouldn't even think about it because you'd be like, well, yeah, it's been restored. It was crashed. So it's not the same thing. But there's none of that. The only thing that I noticed that I was like, well, that's a little different was the chairs. That was it. And those were the things that were the most destroyed. So it's just like, what? And I'm thinking that this is the scene we're going to get at the very end of the show to close out the show. Goodbye. And it's not, it's the middle of, Jesus Christ. It's the middle of the part of episode 9 or the end of episode 9. And I'm riddled with emotion. And while I'm riddled with emotion and I'm crying, my wife, I don't know if she was crying because my wife is like a Vulcan. But she was like, oh my God, the two of us were lit up. Me and my wife got to watch this. My wife probably doesn't care about this, and I'm the more emotional one. But I felt so, it was beautiful to watch something with my, I'm really ridiculous. What have you done to me, Terry Metalis? I hated season 1 and 2. I said I wouldn't watch this season. I hated season 1 and 2. And while I'm literally crying watching this, and I'm trying to keep my eyes open to not take my eyes off the screen because I just can't deal with it. Then Worf makes one of the funniest goddamn jokes. And I don't know when it happens, but it's really funny, and I want the audio. Worf goes, the music is playing, everything is happy. Oh my God, it's the Enterprise D. And everyone's just in awe, and we're on this bridge again that we love, and then Worf is just like, I prefer the weapons on the Enterprise E. More firing arrays. Like and then Deanna just goes, Worf! She's perfect, Geordi. Dude, I literally have the audio. I recorded the audio of me and my wife watching this. Where is it? Okay, I'm going to play you the audio of my reaction. It's a little crappy to hear because I recorded it on my phone while we were watching it. But I'm actually crying, and that's why my laugh is so weird because I'm like, I can't laugh because I'm so welled up.
She's exactly as she was.
I preferred the weapon systems on the E. Additional phaser arrays to be off.
That's hilarious. And Data goes, hello, chair. Data goes, oh my God, bro. I don't know why, but that. Hello, chair. Oh my God. Oh man. So like it's just so I love it. I'm sorry, man. I can't stop praising this. And you've earned the praise because I bashed so much. And I've nitpicked some things as well this season. But you have earned this praise. Whoever's watching this who worked on this show and acted on this show, or Terry Metalis or anybody, you've earned my ridiculous knob gobbling that I'm doing right now. I'm so happy that I'm losing my emotions and shedding everything for you, because that's what movies are supposed to do to people. That's what shows and stories are supposed to do to people. And it's like it's a gift that it's a gift to be able to touch people. And that's what I've always wanted to do in my shows and radio and in storytelling myself. And so I know that there's some people out there, and there's Hollywood scum, and there's big movie studio scumbags who just want money and things like that. And some people just want their career to money and whatever else they do and put their name on something. But I know that there's people that genuinely want to make people feel. And this has accomplished that. And then, Picard is like, I hate to ask you all to do this again and come with me. We've been here before. Riker's like, we're the crew of the USS Enterprise. And so then Picard is like, computer reinstate, blah blah blah, restart up the ship basically. And then Majel Barrett Roddenberry's voice comes across. All the people that were like, why don't the computer voices be Majel Barrett Roddenberry? I can't even speak. Why isn't it her? Well, it's to pay it off at the end here. Why are the ships so dark and everything's dark? It gets paid off here. Why isn't there carpets? It gets paid off here. So much so. Oh my God. And she says, the ship is now under control of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, because it's offline, so it still thinks that Picard is the captain, and that's hilarious. And he's like, I'll accept the field demotion. And wherever you go, we go. And then Captain says, set a course for Earth. And he's like, and Picard sounds like Picard, again, as best he can. Mr. Data, set a course for Earth. I'm like, yes, let's go. And like all of a sudden we go from like the darkness to holy shit, it's the Enterprise D, to I'm crying, I can't stop crying, to oh my God, I'm laughing, Worf and Data, to, marking out over the classic voice of Majel Barrett, to let's go. Let's go! Let's fucking go! And I can't believe it. Oh.
Thank you, number one.
The music kicks in. It's fucking crazy, bro. Holy shit, dude. The weapons are online, Captain. Riker's like, oh, hopefully we have to avoid the Borg and figure out what we're going to do. I don't know how they're going to avoid the Borg and figure this out without, I don't know how they're going to do any of this on just one ship. There's a million other ships versus them on a 30-year-old vessel or whatever, So I'm a little bit concerned. But, whoo, man, that D comes out of the museum space dock.
Set a direct course for Earth, maximum warp.
Oh, my God. Like, bro, he sits down. They're all there. Beverly is, like, running ship diagnostics via control pad, which I thought was a good idea and pretty cool. You see the Enterprise D, and it's the real Enterprise D, and it's getting ready for warp, and it's making a big turn, an epic shot, just a hero shot, and then boom, it warps away. The bass, if you don't have bass on your TV, you don't know what you're missing, because on a regular TV, I didn't hear it, but on my computer headphones and on my theater system in the basement, as the ship warps away, it's fucking unbelievable. And now it's like, let's go, man. Let's go. Episode 10 is going to be nuts. What the hell's going to happen in episode 10? And these are all my thoughts and emotions, without getting too technical, breaking down Easter eggs and technical things, which other people will do better. These are my straight up raw emotions, and this has been a long review, and I hope you've been here with me for this whole thing. What do you think about the episode? And did you watch my whole review just now? Please subscribe, because I could use you. Episode 10, what's coming? I think I know what's coming. And I have not seen episode 10. I didn't, I don't know. And I have not read spoilers. and I'm staying away from everything, but I have an idea of what could be happening in episode 10, and I have one certain thing that I think is coming, and they've basically retconned the Borg situation. They can't really retcon the Picard robot situation, but there could be something else that could be retconned that could help them, that could happen in episode 10. And I think I know what that is. But maybe not. I don't know. But it feels like we're down for some kind of battle. But also, I don't know what's going to happen. But so I'm just gonna theorize really quickly with you guys, if you'd like. Please leave your comments down below and likes, and try not to leave spoilery comments. I don't know. This is a spoiler video. I mean, everybody should know by now. So whatever, I guess. But I guess try to. But people shouldn't be reading comments if they haven't seen the episode. I think it'd be cool if the Enterprise ends up getting caught, and at some point the Enterprise and the crew are able to take the fleet back somehow as the Borg starts invading. And as the Borg invades, it'd be cool if all the ships were back, and then they could have this big fight between the Borg and the Federation. And as the fight starts, like, they start losing, so they're losing again. First, there's this big triumphant moment where they're fighting and win. They get all the ships in the fleet back. They find a way to reverse the zombified people and reverse the ships, and they're fighting. But then in the end, it's still not enough. The Borg is already here or something. I don't know, something like that. And then something big will have to happen at the end of that to solve it. I don't know if that's what they could do or what they plan on doing. But how is one Enterprise, going to figure this whole thing out? They really feel up against it no matter what. Even if they had 5 Enterprises, what are they going to do? To unassimilate the fleet of young people and then get the fleet back? And where are the Borg in this trans-warp conduit? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching my review. Thanks for watching Star Trek Late Night. I cannot wait for episode 10. More videos coming. Continue to watch my channel. It's helping me out. Subscribe, leave your comments down below, and share this video with all your Star Trek fans and friends and people. And I'm just fired up. This was an awesome episode, and it validates and makes all the other episodes better. But this is obviously going to be my favorite episode of the season. It's not fair, really, to some of the other great episodes. Like 4 in the end might be, maybe it's the best real episode. I don't know. But this is right now, bro, I'm coming unglued. I'll see you guys later. I'm going to try to survive the rest of the week.